following video falls within Title 17 Copyright Act. Its intention is for educational purposes only. So, let's have a listen here.
And then we go into some single off cases. We did the Idaho 4, we did the Murdoch trials, or the information that was out at that time. And then we also did a few other cases of wrongfully convicted people, including the Michael Morton story and a few others out there. So go check out season 1. It's available on Spotify, Apple, Audible, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Okay, secondly, I just want to give a big shout out to Whirl podcast. It's REAL.
Oh God, how obvious can you be, chick?
Like real. WHIRL, Whirl podcast on you.
Now let's see why she's giving him this shout out right now. Watch her reason.
YouTube. He does a really good job of covering some of the facts of the Darlie case. And
now she says that he does a really good job of covering some of the facts in the Darlie case. If you go look at Rel's thing, he's gonna get about maybe 2 videos up. And in the first one, he tells us about how he sat down with the family, and that he talked to Darlie, and he sat down with the family twice. He said he sat down with the family, but he seemed to feel like Chad Patterson was a suspect, and he never was. There were people out here hubbubbing, but he was not a suspect. But let's see what we got. I want to see what she's saying here.
And one of the people that he has on there, he's basically able to disprove a lot of things. And if somebody comes to me and says that I didn't read the testimony, then you can go listen to all 10 episodes of my Darlie content on Kitchen Table Research and see that I did read all of the testimony, all 10,000, 20,000.
You can't tell the difference between 10,000 or 20,000 pages. Actually, there's 33,000 pages.
Pages or whatever it may be.
You don't know how many pages you run, Sully?
I even put together my own DNA spreadsheet, which is
very good. I hope that you show all of these other forensic people that went through her stuff and did the spreadsheets and took care of all that. I hope you show that where all of them were wrong. That's what I want you to do, okay?
Episode that I'm recording tonight at midnight, and I have a forensic more of a forensic DNA expert in that field that's going to help me with that piece of it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, because maybe you could show us where these experts before were wrong. I mean, nobody's been able to do this for 27 years. So we're going to be really excited to see what you come up with.
Jones will also be on that episode, and then we will all come back together for the conclusion and end season 1. Like I said, season 2 we're going to roll right into with Oklahoma, and the first cases we're going to cover is...
She would make a hell of a librarian, wouldn't you? Can't you just imagine her sitting and reading like, the goat came home to a bunch of second graders?
Peggy McGuire and Sandy Ray, and both of their cases have already been covered on my TikTok, but we're going to go way more in depth.
And you know, when I'm congested, I talk like that too. It just kind of sounds like I'm talking like this when I'm congested. Somebody get her a tissue
on the podcast. Also, just on that note, if one
now let's go to look at the couple videos that Real Whirl podcast has. Oops, there's some stuff I put up already because she mentioned him. And, I am not going to let a Darlie supporter lie about anything. She must have missed this video that Rel's got up. She said he's got a lot of videos over there about Darlie. So let's take a look. Yeah, I'm just going on what she said. See. Now he does some really good videos where he has inmates call in and tell their story.
Now, Sam, You know,
Yeah, he got this
I work
guy.
for women.
Yeah, he's got
Is
it
that
on the
correct?
82 women and 2 transgenders.
Yep.
Okay, 82
So this is what he's
women
got. Let's
and
look
2
at the videos.
transgenders.
Over a period of 50.
What'd you say? He's got a lot of good videos over there about Darlie and someone that can disprove or something. I don't know what you said, but I'm gonna see what he's got here about Darlie. I have been over here for a while. Okay, that's one. And in this one, let's take a look. Let's just take a look here. Free Darlie root here coming soon. That's it. It's only these two. I thought I missed something, Sully, because you said he had a lot of good videos. And he does have this really good one where he and I are talking about the case. Let's go have a look.
It's not. It can't. Neither one of us are gonna listen to that. But she plays with me, and I play with her.
Now,
That's all I do. I don't. Yeah. And then you get to a certain point with it, man. Where you got to just look, man. I'm 52 years old. I ain't 20 years. I can't.
I'm gonna go into the case.
Even as a Darlie supporter, when I would say that, when I would say, hey.
Let me get.
Here's what I think. I think Darlie was upset with Darren because his business was failing. She stuck in the house. He was making $500,000.
Let's see some of the points that Rel brings up to me on here. And I'm a little more seasoned now. And I did make one mistake in this, and I'll point out because I remember this.
A year, and she was stuck in the house, and she knew it. Now, Darren's mother was a CPS worker. She was a cop. So if she tried to leave Darren with those kids, she was afraid that he was going to get them. I think it's a classic case of spousal revenge, filicide. And I got this from Dr. Philip Resnick. He's an expert on filicide.
Okay.
I think that
Now, I'm coming up with this off the top of my head. I ain't got nothing written down in front of me. I got nobody in the chat telling me things to say, nothing. I'm just rambling on. There's no arguing. There's no insulting. And I'm sticking basically to the case. But I am catching what he's doing.
either A, she attempted to kill herself and failed and kill those kids and blame Darren and get Darren locked up. Or two, she was just in one of those, if I can't have them, you won't have them either. Because in their first statements, they never said anything about an argument and asking for separation with each other. They said it. But it came out later that they got in a fight that night and they were asked for a separation from each other. Darlie knew that Darren would get those kids. So I think it's a classic case of spousal revenge suicide.
That's what you feel, huh? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
See?
I went to bed with a younger man because of my husband's erectile dysfunction.
Oh,
This
shit.
simple
I'm
tribal
worried now.
blood flow.
That's the only thing it could be, because otherwise, by all accounts, Darlie was a good mother. She was normal. So was Darren. They smoked a little weed, snorted a little coke. But other than it's like the Chris Watts thing. Chris Watts was a good dad too. They just kind of flipped and killed his kids and everything else.
Okay. What can you tell me about Tom Bevels? What information?
Now, see, I can tell that somebody's sending him stuff. I can now, but I couldn't then. What can you tell me about Tom Bevels? Now, watch. This is his basis. This is the good information that Sully just promoted. All right? So I wanted to come check it out.
Can you give me about Mr. Bevels?
Tom Bevel is an expert on blood splatter. They actually write the books. He works for Garner Bevel. He has made some mistakes in other cases, like the David King.
When I did this podcast with him, I was sitting in my office. I was sitting in my office of the 14th floor downtown Dayton when I worked for Dayton Metropolitan Homes as a supervisor. I've got videos of it too, Rel.
Case, he made a mistake on the blood splatter there.
He got three wrong. He got 3 wrongful convictions.
Now, he's going to talk about Tom Bevel has made mistakes. There's no doubt in that. But so have many other ones made mistakes. And he's going to talk about these mistakes that Tom Bevel made, but get off of what Darlie actually did And why in Darlie's case did they not say, Tom Bevel, you did this wrong? In the other cases, they knew he did it wrong, and that's what got the people exonerated. There's one guy that was let out, David Cam, and Tom Bevel made a mistake in that case, and he sure did. And it took David Cam a lot of fighting, but he eventually was able to prove that someone did it wrong, and it took him 3 trials. So if you continue and continue and continue and continue and assess systems like, say, 27 years, and there's enough evidence that someone did something wrong in your case, they'll find it. Now, I will say that in the Cameron Todd Willingham case, I believe that he was executed as an innocent man. And I believe that the junk science that they used to determine how that fire was started in there is a huge part of it. So, but listen to his reasons. This is the good information. She said he's got a lot of good information, so I came over here.
3 wrongful convictions. So why in the hell? Let me ask you this. Now, if he got 3 wrongful convictions, right?
Now, see, he's getting loud. Look, he's getting loud, puffing up. He's thinking what to say. Keeps looking at his phone.
Why in the hell is this man even still got a job? Why would they even put him on the routier case of blood spatter? Mm-hmm.
But I also know that forensic science isn't exact science, and they know that going in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not an exact science. And Darlie had the opportunity to have other experts come in and disprove Tom Bevel. There was no one in Darlie's case that could disprove Tom Bevel. So, and the other, like I said, you wouldn't know about those 3 wrongful convictions where he got it wrong. And even though those people had to struggle to prove it, you wouldn't know about it. So tell us in Darlie's case, what did he get wrong? Be specific. That's what I want to know.
Tom Bevel, he had some mistakes. Every one of them make mistakes. They all make mistakes.
And that's a fact. Everybody that's been in forensics for you, none of them have a perfect record. None of them. Not a single one.
But Tom Bevel was also tolerated people who weren't guilty. So you kind of got to go with the bad.
No, I can't take it like that. I can't.
Now, see, so he's automatically refusing. He's really upset about this. This is how they're trying to play it. He's really upset about that.
Can't believe anything dealing with this guy. You got 3.
Yeah, so he's going to focus on Tom Bevel. Well, he missed 3 of them, so she's got to be innocent. Okay, come on now. I should have caught this before.
Wrongful convictions, and people have spent years in prison because of your word.
Well, I understand that. But if it was only Tom...
See, I'm not playing into that shit. Because it wasn't Tom Bevel that got her convicted. And there's nothing that they could say in Tom Bevel's case that was wrong. I mean, they could debate. I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you guys this. And I've said this before. There is a video of Tom Bevel describing, he's wearing white, all white. And he's describing how Darlie would have stabbed the boys. And he's swinging his arm way back. I mean, I even noticed it. And I'm going to give you, because look, I'm not just Darlie's guilty and that's it. He swung that thing way back, and then he came back down. Then he swung it way back, and then he came back down. He was trying to show how that blood splatter got on her back, right? But the way he swung, I never saw how he swung it, right? And I've said this before. Sometimes non-sporters get pissed off at me, but you don't have to bring your arm back as far as he was. But I will say that those stabs in her body were pretty deep. But in the boys' bodies, they were relatively deep, and one of them impaled organs. And but no, I didn't like the way that Tom Bevel was trying to swing it back. So I think Labor and Epstein did the same thing, and they were just stabbing. They weren't bringing it over their shoulders at all. They were just bringing it down. They were not bringing it. Now, both ways that they did it, you could have got it there, but the way Bevel was swinging way back. Donnell said that Tom Bevel was the type of expert that would take money to swing the case the way he wanted it. That's how she slandered him.
Tom Bevel's testimony that put her in there, then I could clearly understand what you're saying.
Now, let's talk about...
Now, look, he's just waiting for me to be quiet so he can get on with the next thing that's come through his text. There's somebody going, ask him about Chad Patterson.
It's up to the courts to believe what these experts are saying.
Okay.
The prosecutor's coming in to paint a picture of she did it. And it just depends on what picture looks better sometimes.
Okay, now let's talk about the judge, Joe. What's his name?
This is where I made a mistake, right? He said Judge Toll, and I got that in my brain. Judge Toll is not the judge who died 10 years. Well, he stepped down off of the case because they felt like he was having some sickness, right? So he was being diagnosed, but he was not diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's while he was sitting on a stand. And it's Judge Francis. And since he said Toll, I got stuck on the Toll. So I did misspoke. I was answering him when I shouldn't have been. So let me go back here.
Why would they even put him on the route?
So one of the reasons that Darlie is innocent, and according to Real World Podcast, is that Tom Bevel made mistakes in other cases. All right. He didn't say what mistake he made in Darlie's case. He didn't go into specifics. It's kind of hard to do that when somebody's shooting it to you to read it off to ask him. I mean, that's what he was doing.
Tier case of blood spatter.
But I also
Look, I was serious about debating the case. I didn't want to play these games, right?
Forensic science isn't exact science, and they know that going in. Tom Bevel, he had some mistakes. Every one of them make mistakes. They all make mistakes. But Tom Bevel,
Those mistakes are not acceptable. I mean, honestly. But the people are given a chance to dispute if they feel like something is a mistake. Now, if there is an expert that's taking, let's say an expert's supposed to be analyzing something, and it's not going the way the prosecution wants it, so he makes it go that way, that's fucked up. And no, that person should never work in law enforcement.
was also exonerated people who weren't guilty. So you kind of got to play the good with the bad.
No, I can't take it like that. I can't.
No, he can't. That's it. No, it's just unacceptable to him. He gives no reason why, and he doesn't tell why Tom Bevel got her case wrong. He doesn't do that. Just no. Okay. So he was only there because these fucking Darlie supporters were ringing. They was ringing his bell.
Can't believe anything dealing with this guy. You got 3 wrongful convictions, and people have spent years in prison because.
What about people, Rel, that have personally in their lives had some rightful convictions and did some time? Would you believe that person? Because I was told that I was an ex-con, and what I say don't matter.
Your word.
How many years you do?
Well, I understand that. But if it was only Tom Bevel's testimony that put her in there, then I could clearly understand what you're saying.
Now let's talk about.
Now, see, he didn't. I gave him something perfect. I said if it was only Tom Bevel's testimony, then yeah, you'd be cool. And he just said, He didn't go into anything else. So this whole thing, I feel like it was just me and him have been fighting for 2 years, and this whole thing was just to get at me a little bit. Because, he don't care about Darlie Routier. He talked about her for 4 fucking years. How,
It's up to the courts to believe what these experts are saying.
Okay.
The prosecutor's coming in to paint a picture of she did it. And it just depends on what picture looks better.
He's probably thinking, damn, this guy sounds pretty good. How am I going to do this?
Okay, now let's talk about the judge, Joe. What's his name? Judge Toll. That's his name.
It's not Judge Toll, but look, watch this. Watch this. This came directly from Tracy Monet. Yeah, this came directly from the Truth, who was trying to ag him on at me too. I did not do that.
Yeah, Judge Toll.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, Judge Toll. And somehow I got stuck in my head, but it's not. It's Judge Francis. Judge Francis also had years later. He had I don't know the exactness of it, but I do believe that an intruder came into his house and killed his daughter and a couple grandkids. And Darlie Key even one time said, yeah, look what happened to him.
Why is it this was a serious case? This woman's fighting for her life. But the judge was
saying, look how he's trying to be. Hey, he's fighting for her life. Watch.
Falling asleep on the bench several times and was heard making jokes.
Okay. Now, he's really mad. You know, by God, she fell asleep 17 times. The only one that reported that was Aunt Sandy. Aunt Sandy, what she was doing, I'm gonna tell you why she did it, why she got mad at the judge. She was allowed to be in the courtroom because she wasn't a witness, right? So she'd be writing down things when they're saying it, and the judge noticed it, and then he'd notice her get up and go out in the hallway for a little bit and come back in, and then do the same thing. They saw her do it 3 or 4 times, and he chastised her in open court. He said, you need to stop writing the notes. You need to watch your notes because you're going out in the hallway and coming back in. That's what happened. Now, you got to remember, this is a packed courthouse, wall to wall. Nobody could fit in there. Everybody's staring at the judge and the prosecutor. And the only one that said he fell asleep 17 times, and it wasn't in the court documents that the judge fell asleep 17 times. It was in Sandy Akins who said that, which is a Darren's family member.
No.
Look. He don't. Look.
Judge Toll, that's his name?
Yeah, Judge Toll.
Okay. Why is it this was a serious case? This woman's fighting for her life. But the judge was seen falling asleep on the bench.
Was seen by who? Where'd you get that from? Sully, you say he had good information over here. What's up with that?
Several times and was heard making jokes.
Heard making jokes. Where? By who? Where? He's not giving anything. He's just going on what somebody's telling him. He don't care about this case, man. Come on.
No.
No. I ain't gonna let you explain.
He was heard making jokes.
By who?
Talking about he's a Z away from.
Oh, and that is okay. He said he was heard making jokes. That's why I got it confused.
Alzheimer's disease, whatever.
No, this is in the testimony. It's literally was said in court. The courtroom knew, the courthouse knew that he was dealing with some stuff going back and forth to the doctor. They're trying to figure out what was wrong, right? And they made a joke about him having, dementia or something like that. And he did say, he just made a joke. He said, well, I might be up to the Z in Alzheimer's, but I ain't that far gone yet. That's what he said. He was not diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He 10 years later, he did have Alzheimer's and he stepped down. Now, once he had it, he stepped down. Now, I'm gonna let him talk for a second.
Whatever, Alzheimer's, whatever this shit.
Maybe plumb dumb, but he's not plumb dumb. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The only person that reported the judge falling asleep out of a packed courthouse was Darlie's family member.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard.
Hi, Dana.
I'm so excited to announce that local recordings
I'm so
are now
sick of
available
looking
on
at you.
StreamYard.
I wish I
Have you
didn't
ever done a recording where your guest
a little
just
bit better,
had
but that
terrible
Dana
internet
every
issues?
15 minutes, get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Okay, because they observing everything.
Yeah, he said because they observing everything. I just told him it was only one person that reported that. And remember, this is a packed courthouse. You couldn't even get in there. He said, because they observing everything. Right.
This old fucker.
I mean, you sound like one of those, what's up? I thought there was good information over here, Sully. God damn, what's the matter with you? Look at Real.
All that, but her.
And nobody else saw it.
And what she was doing, her name was Sandy Akins. What she was doing when she was writing notes, and she'd go
He
out
ain't listening to the fucking thing I'm saying. He's trying to get on to his next question.
the hallway. And then
Look
she
at him
came
looking up in the air. He don't give a fuck what I'm saying. Watch.
back in, and the judge told her in open court, you can watch that writing notes stuff. We know you're passing the information to people ain't allowed in here. Well,
He just waiting for me to stop. He's looking at the text again. So he can go on to the next thing.
he started falling asleep. And the thing with the Alzheimer's, he was not diagnosed with Alzheimer's until 10 years after Darlie's case. And once he found out that he actually had it, he stepped down. Judge Toll Judge Toll was not the one who convicted her.
I just shot all that away. So he's waiting to get on the next one. I do that same thing. If somebody's talking, I'm just waiting for him to be quiet. I'm going, yeah, sure. I already know what I'm going to say.
It was 12 jurors that convicted her.
Right, but
Jurors.
okay. But why did he help set this up in a fucked up predicament in a courtroom where it was cold? You know, if it's you're uncomfortable as a juror.
Now, who where's the documents of the temperature in there? You know, who said it was cold? Barb Davis said it was cold. Yeah, that it was, you know, you can't help what the weather is. So these are your reasons. This is good information. These are your reasons. Cold courthouse, a judge that didn't have Alzheimer's, and an expert whom they didn't see anything that he did wrong in her case. So far, that's where we're at.
Jury, you're gonna hurry up and convict the motherfucker just to get this shit over with because
they're cold. Yeah, she was cold. They hurried up. The judge had Alzheimer's, Tom Bevel. What about the evidence?
Uncomfortable. And a lot of those people's uncomfortable there. And they
because all the jurors talked about how uncomfortable they were when they got in there. They all did that, right?
That him and this fucking the district attorney prosecutor motherfucker.
Listen to him. Prosecute. He acts like he's so mad that Darlie got locked up. That motherfucker. But he hasn't talked about her for 4 years.
They rushed this because and this is what it is, okay?
Yeah, he said the prosecutors rushed this. What Rel doesn't know is that the speed of the trial is always dependent on the defense. The prosecution can't hurry it. The prosecution has to give as much time as they apply for. They can do a motion to continue and to gather evidence. They can do all that. But the prosecution can't say, hey, hurry up. Never in any case. Now watch.
They fast-tracked it. But Greg Davis and Kobe Sugar had nothing to do with the air in that place. And actually...
That's what I said. They had nothing to do with the air in the place. If it was that cold in there, the jurors simply could have said, sir, this is too cold. And they would have fixed it. They had to. And we all know that. They didn't like it in there.
First vote was 8-4. And the judge told us to go back over there and come out. We don't know how cold, we don't know the temperature in there. I know that there weren't people in the galley that were saying they were cold and they had to leave.
Okay.
Somebody picked out a blanket. Just the jury room must have been cold, but the rest
so I have successfully depleted everything that he said so far.
of it wasn't. Yeah.
Well, let's get back on Chad, right?
Chad. Let's get back on Chad.
I mean, Charles.
Okay, Charles.
Charles Lynch.
Yeah, why should we, like I said, once again, why are we believing anything that Mr. Lynch has to say?
Yeah, because Charles Lynch was a different one. He was the fingerprint guy. He wasn't Tom Bevel. Okay.
When he done convicted three wrong people, was three wrong people was wrongfully was that?
And I politely corrected him. Watch.
I said, no, that's not Charles. My bad. Bevels. My bad.
So he's trying to recircle around the same three things. Watch this.
Bevels. Why should we be even believing him? And he done got three wrong convictions. People have served more than 5 years in penitentiary because of his fuck ups.
Okay, what fuck up was it in Darlie's case? See, that's what's important. You can use this, these supporters, they can use this old fucked up shit about, Tom Bell. Yeah, but what was it that he did?
And this woman,
see, I can tell, he don't care. He really doesn't.
This woman has spent nearly 30 years in prison because of his fuck ups.
Nope. What fuck ups? Sully, I'm glad that you had me come back over here and look at this because I almost forgot about it. It's been so long since Rel's been in the support thing. I don't see him I've never seen him in the groups. And this is interesting to me because remember, he sat down with the family. He sat down with the family and he talked to Darlie directly. He said that he was going to go straight to the source and give us all the information we need.
Yeah, she's been there for about 23 years. And
Close, just say 30, almost 30, rounded off to the nearest 30.
It wasn't his testimony that sealed the nail in our coffin. It wasn't his testimony.
Mm-hmm. This is the second time I've said that. Okay, so he should.
I recently heard of a way to make mealtime throughout the week so much easier. Cook Unity is a direct-to-chef marketplace connecting you to your city.
And like I said, these forensic experts are going to be wrong. There's also been people that have committed crimes that went through the court process and was found not guilty.
Because you know why? Because they wasn't guilty. That's why.
No. There's also been guilty people that have went through the court process and got out of it because they weren't proven guilty. That doesn't mean you're not guilty.
The only person I know that got away with cold-blooded murder was that motherfucker O.J. Simpson. That's the only motherfucker I believe.
Now, Mystery Maverick, I'd like for you to show Rel proof that O.J. is innocent.
He got away with cold-blooded murder. O.J. Simpson. He got away with murder. He did that shit. Now, that was some shit he did.
That was about money. And they banked his ass on the other charges, and it cost him $49 million, so really.
And that was a drop in the bucket for him because he's not broke. It was a small drop.
Now we moved completely away from Darlie.
Small drop. And the Goldman's brother and the Goldman's family still haven't gotten paid yet. Not $1.
And see, the comeback that I should have said is that, Goldman's dad, he said he's interested in the money. He just wanted OJ to be accountable and have to say that he did it. He was guilty. He wasn't worried about the money.
Yeah, he said he ain't gonna pay.
Oh, goddamn. Okay, round it off to his. Back to
the Darlie. I want to hear this good content. Well, it really is some good content because I'm spitting out some facts in this case. So maybe that's what you meant.
Round it off to the nearest 10. Todd, my guy. Todd is a cool dude. I like Todd. Todd, like I say,
Todd is a very interesting individual.
Yes, he is. He's very, very respectful. From day one, he's always been very respectful. Very.
He's like that in every chat. He's like that in every chat. Sometimes when you come on live and you don't see him, say, "Hey, where's Todd?" Right? I ain't seen Todd. He'll show up.
Oh, okay.
He pops up.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. The blood splatter on Darlie shirt could have come from cast off from the paramedics' gloves. Well,
Now look, somebody asked, are we so sure that that cast off didn't come from the paramedics' gloves? And I know enough about the medical world to know that there's a certain way that they take those gloves off just for that. I believe, I'd have to look it up. It's been a while since I've looked this up. I believe you grab the first one at the bottom and roll it down to the tips of your fingers. And then you put it in the other one. And then you pull that one down the tips of your fingers and you bring it up slowly. And now it's in a ball. And you cup it with that hand. There is a certain way of doing it. But now he's on this about the blood with the gloves.
Protocol for the paramedics' gloves with certain ways they take them off so that the blood won't fly. And I put that video at the show that they teach them. You take one glove off.
Everything that Rel has asked, I have answered factually and 100% correct. He's not worried about a damn thing I say. He's trying to figure out how to get at me. But he don't want to look like he's getting at me.
That's the proper way to do it. But I've seen MTs do the total opposite.
So far, he's seen MTs do the total opposite. Where? What case? So he's just trying to shoot down everything I say. Now look at these reasons why he feels that Darlie's innocent. Look at these reasons. And remember, there's a lot of good stuff over here. Yeah, there really is, because I was on point.
None of them do it. Like I said, I worked at the Wayne County Medical Examiner's office before. I seen it. I know they do it.
So he worked inside where there wasn't a crime scene. There was no, there was no crime scene. So working at the medical center, he might be right. He may have seen some of them just do that, but they're not concerned with messing up a crime scene. They shouldn't be doing that. But if you listen to what he says, he worked at a medical center, not at a crime scene.
I'm a straight witness to that. They be in there all fucking thumbs. They come in there, you know the motherfucker's dead, so why in the fuck is you even touching the body? Leave it. Let us do what we got to do with it.
I don't know what that had to do with anything. You know the motherfucker's dead. Leave it. I have no idea what he meant there. I really don't. But I know there's a huge difference in the medical center and a crime scene.
And as far as the Darlie's scene being trampled, they had to get in there at 10 today. Paramedics aren't usually worried about the crime scene. They're worried about the victim.
True.
They had to get in today because they actually inserted something into his lung to help him to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there was a footprint that they couldn't identify at one time, and James Cron, he made everybody that was on that scene test for a footprint and came back to the paramedics. The medics, the supporters at one time gave the medics a lot of crap for not coming in right away, but they have to wait until the officers clear the scene.
Why choose a
I
Sleep
don't
Number
want
smart
to choose a
bed?
Sleep
Can I
Number
make my
smart
side
bed.
softer?
I don't
I
like
make
them.
my side firm. Sleep Number does that.
So when they get in there, they're going in there straight to the victim. They're not worried about what's on the floor.
Whoa.
So of course, with all the blood
What?
being right in
His
their
reasons that Darlie's innocent now.
Of course they're going.
Well, here in Wayne County,
Hey, I did tell him after this. You know, while we were talking on the phone, I said, you got to learn that Darlie case a little bit better before you try to debate it with me. He was just laughing.
EMS, they in that motherfucker quick. Ain't no kid finna be laying around. They coming straight in and running straight to that kid. That's the kid. The kid is number one priority.
And that's exactly what they did. So thank you.
Anyone, the kid.
Right. But here's what Darlie was saying. It was an intruder. He went out in the garage to go check the garage. They didn't know had he left the house yet. So that's what they didn't want. They can't lift the alley.
He's trying to say something about when the officers went in there, right? When I think it was Walling that came second, they hadn't cleared the house yet. And the EMTs are told to stand down until the scene is cleared. The safety of everybody in the house is the first priority, like he's saying. Right? So if those cops just ran in and dropped right down and started taking care of the kids, and an intruder really was in there, and that intruder would then stab that cop and take his weapon, that's why they don't do that. It's common sense. This is a common sense approach. Now you got to remember, Rel don't care about Darlie at this point. He really doesn't. He don't care if she's innocent or guilty. He's just trying to get at me. And he'll tell you this. Well, at least he told me that anyway, so.
Once they cleared and checked the garage and checked there when they saw he wasn't there, they cleared it and then he came in. Otherwise, they would have rushed right on in there. They thought there were intruders still hiding in that house.
Now, this is what I want to ask you. Now, let's play the speculation game, Brian, because you're good at it.
Look, he's talking about how good I was at speculating. And the whole time, all his answers have been speculation. Every one of them might have been factual.
What do you think? Why do you think Darren didn't come downstairs while any of this was going on? Now
I think Darren didn't come downstairs while any of this is going on is because he had smoked half a doobie and he was going to bed. Why didn't he hear it? Is that what you're going to say?
Butchering the motherfuckers. Now you make noises.
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And he's saying, yeah, how come that guy that was way up the stairs down the hallway in a bed on the other side of the house, how come he didn't hear all that shit going on? Why didn't he come down there? It's the fact that Darlie is inches away from one boy and a foot or two away from the other. And she didn't wake up. But watch. Look, he's just trying to pick.
Grunting noises.
Right.
Is it possible for a motherfucker to sleep through that?
Nope. It sure isn't. Thank you very much. Because Darlie did.
When they checked Darren and Darlie's room, they found, first of all, they found half a joint in an ashtray. I mean, he smoked a little bit. He was sleeping, right? Darren said he heard that glass break, right? And then he heard Darlie screaming for him. So as soon as he heard some noise, he came down there. The question is why wouldn't Darlie hear all that stuff when she was only feet away from him?
Now what?
That's the question. Darren was way up.
Is she a hard sleeper?
She's a very, very light sleeper. All right. If you knew the case, you'd know this. You would know why she was down there. All right. She said that she was down there because the baby upstairs that slept way on the other side of their room would roll around in his crib, and that would wake her up. Oops.
No, she's a very light sleeper, and I got her mother-in-law to say that. Very light sleeper. Right? These babies were feet away from them. Wait. Now, you know the reason why she's downstairs, right?
Right.
You know, the reason she said she's downstairs.
He said right, and then I answered. I should have let him tell me.
They've been sleeping down there for a week.
He's probably thinking, damn, I can't get through this guy for this case. Look at that look on your face, Rel.
She said because the baby, whose crib was in their room, would rock. He would rock that crib and wake her up. So she would just go sleep downstairs rather than not be bothered with that noise. If the baby just moved around in her crib could wake her up, how come an intruder killing her other two kids she slept sound?
Was she drunk? Was she drunk that night?
Oh my God, Rel, you want her out of prison? You don't know the toxicology? She had nothing in her system.
Did she have anything to drink?
No, Rel, you shouldn't be asking me that because you're saying that Darlie is innocent and you're gonna get her out of there. I'll show you his first video. Watch. Now wait a minute, Rel. You said you sat down with the family. If you sat down with the family, they would have told you she wasn't drunk, right? Why didn't they tell you that? They're hiding stuff from you. And that's not nice of them, because you're out here wanting to get her out.
Any alcohol in her system, all she had was diet. No weed, no nothing.
No. Okay, so she didn't have any drugs, no coke, no weed, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
I just raised the questions just like you do. And if you think otherwise, just because you think Darlie's innocent.
No. I don't think I know she's innocent.
Come on, Rel. You didn't even know she had any fucking drugs in her system. Look, this is all because he was still mad at it, right? So he wanted to try and make me look silly on this case.
I know she's innocent.
He knows it. But for some reason, he put it down for 4 years and moved on to other cases. That's a really good. But for some reason, he put this down for 4 years and hasn't spoke on it since. Now,
maybe you can answer to me why she couldn't hear her babies being butchered, just the way you described it, unless we're a few feet away from her.
Okay, let's street shit. Let's talk street shit, okay? How many times you been knocked out cold sleep?
Things you can do with all the time you saved because you used findlaw.com to find an attorney. Work on your dance.
And your wife was giving you a blowjob and you didn't wake up right away.
I didn't remember that. Sorry, y'all.
Away. Getting that blowjob. Does that make you
remember, he's trying to explain to me how he knows Darlie is innocent.
She could have been in a deep sleep.
Yeah.
She said that she woke up to the sound of her baby coming over her, tapping her on the shoulder and saying, "Mommy, mommy."
Okay, but hold on. Obviously,
come on, Rel.
Obviously, she was in a deep sleep.
She was not in a deep sleep. You have a 5-year-old coming over to her with mortally stabbed wounds that killed him. Calmly walking over to her and going, "Mommy, mommy." They want you to believe that. Now listen.
Because she didn't hear her son getting assaulted until he came over.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
That's why
and this question is, why didn't she hear that? You just asked why Darren, who was all the way upstairs, didn't hear it. See, you're not going to listen to anything.
Did you know that there was half a joint in their ashtray, which a lot of people smoke before they go to bed, and that puts you out. So you could have been the same answer. So I got the same answer for you that you have for me. That because babies were feet away from her.
Right.
If she was a deep sleeper, the baby just rocking around and moving in his crib, that wouldn't wake her up. It didn't wake nobody else up. It only woke
See, in the
Darlie.
beginning, he couldn't understand why Darren way upstairs. And he's trying to say, well, she was in a deep sleep. Why come Darren?
Didn't wake Darren up. Yeah. Didn't wake Darren up. Didn't even wake the baby up. Didn't wake the boys up. Only woke Darlie up. In my opinion, if the baby was having trouble at night sleeping because he would rock around.
Well, you really do look like you're just waiting on me to shut the fuck up so you can swing on to some other shit. You have not defeated anything.
My stuff and going downstairs to sleep. I try to find out why the baby was doing that. Why was he every night fussing and fighting, right? Or you can get a monitor. You can get a monitor, or you can take the baby and put it. They had another room. You could put him in there at night if it was waking her up with a monitor, right?
Is it possible? Is it possible she probably didn't want any more kids, and Darren could have been the one that made her have that kid? Is that could have been possible?
Actually, it's the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Darren didn't want any more kids.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
remember, he sat down with the family twice. He went and talked to Darlie too.
And I can't prove it. Rumor has it that she got pregnant. Darren paid for her boob job for her to have an abortion. But that's only a rumor. I can't prove that.
See how I said that?
That's just a rumor.
See how I said that? I don't do that rumor
That's
shit.
not a fact, but that's what was said.
Okay.
And I know that his girlfriend, Cindy Black, if you see pictures of her from before, she's just flat chested. Cute, but flat chested. But you see her now, she got some big old boobies.
Big old boobies. So Darren like big titties. So
Darren likes big titties. Anybody that knows this case knows that one of the first things that Darren told those police officers was, she's the best looking. She's being followed. Have you seen her breasts? He said something about her being beautiful and her breasts a couple different times. And he just asked, oh, so Darren likes big titties. I can't believe the family didn't tell you that, Rel, when you sat down with them. I can't believe them fuckers. You wasted your time sitting down. They didn't tell you nothing, man. You should be mad at them.
One of his first statements to the police was, isn't she beautiful? Didn't you see her big breasts?
See how my story is consistent? This is 4 years. You know, Darlie's been saying the same story for years, so she must be innocent, right? My story is consistent. I just said what I said 4 years ago. I don't change it up.
Darren's fucking weird. I do believe that if Darlie didn't do it, then Darren did. Because I believe somebody in that house did that. And I made that perfectly clear all these years. Even as a Darlie supporter.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey,
it's Tyler
Tyler.
here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Hell yeah, my God.
City,
Woo, my
Ohio,
fucking
June
beard.
15th. It's going to be.
When I would say that, when I would say, hey, if she didn't do it, then Darren did, they gave me hell for that. They didn't like to hear that shit.
I still say Darlie didn't do it.
And he's given absolutely 100% no reason why she didn't.
If you can answer me why she wouldn't hear that.
No, hold on now. Nanny Love, I love you, Nanny Love. This is some good shit right up here. Nanny Love says, so Darlie wanted more kids just to murder them, huh? That's what you said.
They even had a baby named picked out for, they thought it was
Now
going
he's
to be
looking
a
into
girl.
the audience for something to bring up.
That girl named picked out. And in the other room, they had her wedding dress was laying out, insurance papers was laying out, baby girl.
So look at all the
dresses were
details
laying-
that I'm giving in this case, right? Right. And yeah, maybe things are different now. Maybe Rel knows the case now. Maybe he's put some videos up with really good information on it somewhere that I haven't seen. So I don't know. I'm just going on the ones I thought she said Real Whirl podcast. You know, maybe he's put one up somewhere else and I haven't seen it yet.
Laying out. A red baby girl dress was laying out. All her life was spread out on the table in the next room. That's a fact.
Okay, so the insurance policy, what kind of insurance
He's asking
policy was
questions
it?
that dig holes.
It was the insurance policy for the boys and funeral arrangements for the cat. And if you look at Darlie Routier's pictures, you see that couch and you see that big cage next to it. It contained a Himalayan cat named Smoke.
I think his name was Smoke.
In the cage because he would freak out. Whenever anybody came near that cage, he would freak out and start batting all over the cage.
I got Doritos, y'all.
But you know that cat didn't make a noise when that intruder came in there. It's a fact, man. It's a fact, man. It's a fact. I'm not making nothing up. That is a fact.
And what kind of cat you said this was?
I thought it was a big. I saw a picture of him. It looked like a big black Himalayan cat. And I know his name was Smoke. And I heard Darlie talk about, that cat would scare the kids. They'd keep you in the cage. But you'll see Darlie's couch. You'll see the lampshade down. And right beyond that, you'll see that cage.
Look how detailed I am. I'm just talking. I can do this all day long. I've been doing it for years.
She said that cat whenever anybody, and the police said the cat was freaking out when they were there.
I mean, well, you gotta look at how many, all the commotion that was going on. The cat was gonna freak out. Now, come on, the cat.
And listen, he just
dog.
gave it to me. Look at all the commotion that was going on. You had 3 murders. Why was the cat not going the fuck off in the cage when that intruder was in there?
It's not a dog. He's not gonna alarm them when if someone's in there killing somebody. He's just a cat. He's not a dog. That's what you got a dog for.
Well, they said anytime anybody came near that cage, he would freak out, and it was pretty close to the cage.
Okay, maybe the intruder didn't go near the cage.
He might not have. He could not have, or it could have just been something that he's used to, like Darlie walking around with kids all day long.
I still
okay. I ain't getting nowhere with this guy.
This is everybody.
Not on this case, Rel. I own this case. You can't take this case away from me. That's one thing you can't do with me, is take this case away from me. You might be able to pay crackhead to shoot me in the head or something like you told me. You might be able to do all that stuff, but you can't take this case from me. You're not going to.
There's much more questions than there are answers, and no one can really answer these questions.
That's right.
But the people who were there, the two young men are no longer with us. They're deceased.
Say their names.
Yeah.
He ain't said Devin. There it is.
We don't.
I think I said their name.
Right. He can go near the cage.
He might not have. He could not have, or it could have just been something that he's used to, like Darlie walking around with kids all day long.
Yeah.
I
got you.
Okay. Now this is everybody. There's much more questions than there are answers. And no one can really answer these questions.
That's right.
But the people who were there.
Why are you trying to answer?
The 2 young men are no longer with us. They're deceased.
Yes.
And
Devin.
Devin
was killed. Devin was killed instantly. We don't know if he made a sound. And right beyond that, you'll see that cage. She said that cat whenever anybody.
I disagree. I disagree with everything. Fuck it. I strongly disagree. God damn it.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Devin was killed. Devin was killed instantly. We don't know if he made a sound.
The people who were there. The 2 young men are no longer with us. They're deceased.
Yes.
And
Devin was killed. Devin was killed instantly. We don't know if he made a sound.
Right.
Danny was stabbed in the back. We don't know if they made sounds. We don't. To say that Darren should have heard them, well, that's an up in the air question because we don't. Darlie didn't say my kids were screaming. She said he came up to me calmly with 6 more wounds in him and said, "Mommy, Mom."
It's kind of funny that the Darlie supporters were only hanging around because he was going at me. It's kind of funny that they were only coming around because he was going at me, and he it's obvious that he doesn't know the case. Maybe he knows it now because she said he had some real good content out there. There was somebody that could prove everything wrong over there, and then she was giving me props.
I've seen my kids just stub their toe, man. They freak out. This kid's got 6 mortal wounds across through his back.
Now here's the thing, though. You're right. Now Darlie and Darren, they wasn't getting along too good. They were fighting for, I'm assuming, for weeks. From like,
no, they wasn't. Not according to them.
Further said,
Yes.
So is that could that possibly be the reason she was downstairs?
Yeah,
sleeping?
if that was the reason, if that was possibly the reason she was downstairs sleeping, then she lied to everybody because she's the one who said that she was down there because of Drake.
And wasn't
Well, if that was the reason she was downstairs, then she lied.
Oh, see, that's what I said. Oops. How old is this video? Let's see. Let's see how old that is. I want to see. That's me going back onto it. Let's see. Let's see if there's... Oh, 2 years. 2 years. Wow.
Told she was downstairs because of her baby making noise. You know, and if you're really trying to solve an intruder coming in the house,
I had already
you would
said
tell
that
her
earlier why she was down there. And then he asked again. So let's see. I already said he was.
Another thing that we did notice, I'll give you this, is that along with that 14 pieces of jewelry that were on her thing, her wedding ring was there. And I don't know people that are married that take their wedding ring off at night to go to sleep. I guess some do, but I don't.
A lot of men don't even wear their wedding rings, and some
yeah, but we're talking about a woman.
You gotta look at it.
We're talking about a woman.
When you got those big diamonds, because I have diamond rings. And you can't sleep. You're not supposed to sleep in those diamonds because those diamonds can get caught up. And
see, he doesn't know what she did earlier in the day. She just was at home earlier that day. She was making dinner and just being a mom. And so it's hard for me to believe that you have 14 pieces of jewelry on anyway. And when he's going on and on about this, we know that the reason that jewelry was down there wasn't because she was wearing it. It wasn't because she didn't want to sleep with it on. And so either Helena could clean it or she was going to sell it to Helena for $10,000.
Sheets and shit making the rocks will pop out. So I can honestly see her not sleeping with her wedding ring on if it was a big diamond.
That's a very good point. And I will tell you this, that when I spoke with the housekeeper, if you watch the Silly String video, the lady that's holding up Drake's arms, the lady that's holding up baby's arms while they spray that Silly String, her name is Baby. She refused any interview with anybody. She would turn down David Chase.
Okay.
Any interview with anybody, but she decided she wanted to talk to him. She told me that he came over there. You can hear all this. Don't just take it from me. She told me he came over there the day of the murder. And then Darlie and Darren were it was about 5 o'clock, she said. Darlie and Darren were in the kitchen fighting like cats and dogs. And Darlie was making dinner. Like her mom said, she made a big dinner, chicken dinner. And she said that Darlie was literally sharpening up her knives. And since and she could have been doing that for dinner. I don't know why you need to sharpen, But she said that she went outside because they were arguing. She went out to the back. And she said Damon was in the backyard playing with a stick. He's looking kind of down. She said, Damon, what's the matter? What's wrong? He said, well, I want to go spend the night with you tonight, Beja.
You know just how time-consuming it can be searching for royalty-free media.
Yes, I do, and it really pisses me off.
And she says, why? Why would you want to go spend the night with me? I have to work tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And she said, David looked up at her and said, because Mom is being mean to me. That was the day of the murder.
Remember,
there was also a little boy that was supposed to spend the night that night. His name was Jonathan. He lived right down the street. He was supposed to spend the night that night. Yeah, it was all planned. But Darlie changed her mind and said she didn't want him to spend the night that night.
What's wrong with that? There's been kids that want to spend the night at my house sometimes.
Except they ended up dead that night. I'm not laughing that they ended up dead. I'm laughing at this answer. No. He missed the whole part of mommy's being mean to me. Now, I will say this. Beja did say that, and she was there. But she did not say this on the stand. It was interesting for her interview, but a lot of the stuff that she said was not stuff that she said on the stand. And I asked her, I said, well, how come you didn't say this stuff on the stand? right? And she said that she felt bad, even though she knew Darlie killed them. She did help them get some records, some financial records, the prosecution, but she said she only answered what she was asked. She didn't want to push it. That I don't know why she did that, but Darlie was her friend.
With my kids, when they were younger, and I would say yeah, then at the last minute I would change my mind.
But did you ever say, "Mommy's being mean to me"?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You're right, there's nothing wrong with that. Now when Dana and her sister have been staying there off and on for a couple of weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Darlie told her that she wanted to go home, wanted Darren to take her home because Darlie said she wasn't feeling well,
mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Well, Dana said that she wanted to go home to be with her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Darlie told her that she wanted to go home because she said she wasn't feeling well, she never mentioned not feeling well anywhere else.
Mm.
She didn't say I wasn't feeling well.
I'm moving on a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, stuff up, and if something is a rumor, I'll make sure to say, hey, this is just a rumor.
Yep.
If you can find a way to prove it, then that's it. The means to back that up. I have never ever heard anybody mention cigarette smoke ever.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna present that to you at a later date, Brian. I'm gonna give it to you.
Watch this,
and you can share it with your people because your people, they want to know so badly. What's her name? This is Pam. Pam, you are. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to.
She's a sweetie.
She's a sweetie, but she's pro fuck Darlie. She's pro fuck Darlie, and you know whatever you say and whatever you get, she's just not gonna believe it. So I wouldn't even waste my fucking time trying to even tell her where how it was said. And
yeah, because you haven't wasted anybody's time because you've never done it. Now Sully's spelling your name out, brother. She's spelling your name out and telling everybody, come over here, get some real good evidence in the case.
Where it come from, I'm going to tell you a little bit later on after I dig it back out, and we'll go from there. Okay, Darlie, hold on, there you go.
And we never did this again.
Rich Prater. Darlie Lynn said that during her regression therapy the smell of cigarette smoke was in the house during the time of the murders, and no one in the house smoked cigarettes.
And no one in the house smoked cigarettes. Get the fuck out of here. He just gave you something. No. Wrong. Dana had been staying there for a couple weeks. They did not smoke in that house. Dana was allowed to smoke out in the garage. But as we all know, when you smoke, it sticks to your clothes, your hair, your teeth. And Dana was staying there. So absolutely 100% there was a smoker staying there that night.
Fuck out of here. There you go. There you go.
Her regression therapy was not.
She's just not gonna believe it, so I wouldn't even waste my fucking time trying to even tell her where how it was said and where it comes.
Yeah, you're not gonna waste your time because you can't. Sully, you said there's got a lot of good information on there.
But I'm going to tell you a little bit later on after I dig it back out, and we'll go from there. Okay, Darlie, hold on.
Now watch, he thinks he's got something now.
There go Rich Prater.
There you go.
Darlie Lynn said that during her regression therapy the smell of cigarette smoke was in the house during the time of the murders, and no one in the house smoked cigarettes. Get the fuck out of here.
God damn it, let her off death row now. I know she's innocent.
You go. There you go.
Her regression therapy was not part of the trial. It was not part of the evidence. It was not in any police.
Okay, but it came from her mouth, and then it came from Darren later on too that he smelled smoke.
Well, we can go back to her first statement when she said Darren is not the man I saw. She didn't say I smell cigarette smoke. I know it's not him.
Okay, well you know
I think it's a dumb point to argue, and it was kind of ticking me off.
Well, you gotta look at it when your mind is going.
So since the regression therapy said that there was cigarette smoke in the house, and there was actually a cigarette smoker staying there, We all need to get the fuck out of here.
A lot of shit that's going on. You're not
All
gonna
right, hey,
tell us
I'm leaving. See you later.
every goddamn thing. You're just gonna start remembering it as it go. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in a predicament. You know what I'm saying?
So if Darlie was under hypnosis and she said, I smell this faint smell of a cigarette, that would be because it was Dana that was staying there. People who smoke smell like cigarettes. People who don't smoke can smell it.
You know, to experience that type of thing. I'm not, for real.
What I'm telling you is by law, legally, that regression therapy was not presented as evidence.
No.
And regression therapy would be regarded as the same as a lie detector test.
Right.
It depends on the person doing the test. So you can take that and maybe run with it. But we can, if you read that, then we.
Why are we running with it? But this is from her. This is what she said. This is out of her mouth. So why she got to be lying?
What do you mean? Why she got to be lying?
She was in regression. She was in a state of hypnotic, right? It's just
because she's saying she didn't kill her kids, so she's liable to say anything. I don't know. I'm kind of stupid.
It's just like the lie detector test. She failed.
I agree with Nanny Love. Oh my God. That's so gross. He doesn't remember the cigarette smoke, but knows about her Brazilian in the last sexual encounter.
Yeah, because that's because I took the time to read each and every medical record, and there was a medical record that said that that's the way she was presented. So there was way more stuff on it, but she was shaved into a Brazilian. And no, I don't remember the cigarette smoke because I wasn't there. Look.
He's a pervert. Hey.
Yeah, I'm a pervert because I read a medical report that stated that she had a Brazilian on. And I was reading that medical report off at one point, and I just read it off. Whatever. Yeah, I'm a pervert. No, I'm actually somebody that does research in a case before I say I know she's innocent.
Brian's a pervert. He's a freak.
I can go back to
what, Rail? You don't like pussy? How does that make Darlie innocent, right? You like pussy, I like pussy. How does that make her innocent?
I can say that I read that in one of the books.
No, I'm just hold on. Let me see. This lady. Okay, no, we're being nice to each other, but you are pro fuck Darlie. I'm still being.
What's pro fuck Darlie? Why, you tense because of that? Because you showed all these facts or something, real?
Being nice. I'm not disrespecting you. You are pro fuck Darlie. So, basically, I mean, what can I really say to you that is going to convince you when your mind is...
Well, you haven't said anything for the last hour to convince anybody. So.
Already made up, and my mind is made up. So, basically, there's, we can't communicate on this because we're going to butt heads. But I'm respectful.
I'm not going to butt heads. You ain't been butting heads with me, and I'm throwing you facts.
To you. I'm not being disrespectful.
Let me ask you a logical question.
Go ahead.
Let's say they present the results of that regression therapy to the court right now. Would they overturn her conviction?
Will they overturn it? No, it's not going to overturn a conviction. And you know what? But you know why it's not going to overturn a conviction? Because we have a flawed.
Yeah, that regression therapy, it should turn over her conviction. But since we have a flawed system, it wouldn't do it. In that regression therapy, they also said that there were 2 intruders.
Justice system in Texas. We have flawed justice. Yeah, everywhere, but Texas is the most flawed justice system because it's racism and everything else.
What's racism got to do with Darlie? If at this point it was based on racism, we're talking about a white woman.
It's rolled in with it. So let's just we're not saying racism played a part of her case, but Texas.
You can't. It's absolute opposite of racism. Excuse me. Damn. Woo. Shit.
This is flawed. That was a big case, and how you think that would have made them look that nobody got caught for this?
Well, tell us how they did it.
Murder, so they got to blame it on somebody. Look at Michelle LeMay South.
We don't have to go on to another case.
Her case right now to this day is still unsolved, and the DA had the case sealed purposely so it couldn't hit the media and fuck up his case with Darlie.
Yeah, he knows all that.
Help you up right there because you just said that they had a killing in Darlie's home and they needed to blame it on somebody. Why didn't they just blame Michelle and Lene's self on somebody?
Why? Because they had, look at it, 3 weeks later they had Darlie already, so they needed to sweep her up under the rug and not blame it.
How'd they do it? How'd they sweep her up? How'd they do that with Darlie? How
just needed to not even bring her case up. You can ask plenty of people in Texas that's my age and your age about this case, and they don't even know nothing about it.
He said you can ask people in Texas, and they don't even know nothing about it. That's one of the biggest crimes. Everybody knows about it. Damn.
There's lots of deaths. There's lots of killings that go unsolved every year.
Yes.
Probably hundreds of them.
So let me ask, right. So like now that's why when you guys say, oh, go read the transcripts, go read the transcripts. The transcripts sent sent innocent motherfuckers to prison.
Transcripts have never sent an innocent person to prison. Never.
And then they got they shit overturned. So why would I go read some flawed ass transcripts?
How do you know they're flawed? And you do know that the supporters use the transcripts to make their points.
When this is a flawed case.
It's a flawed case. It's flawed transcripts. He's really showing me a lot of good information on how Darlie's innocent. You know what? Fuck it. I give up. He's right.
I think you would have a better argument on that if there was a witness for the prosecution or defense that ever came back and said, that's not what I said, or this is missing, but no one ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And what Rich Prater's saying here, as far as that regression therapy, he says, you're right, it was never released to the public because Darlie Keith told it was never released to the public. Why do you think Darlie Keith didn't release that to the public?
Why they didn't release what to the public?
The regression therapy where she said that she smelled cigarette smoke. Why do you think Darlie Keith never told the public about it?
Why did she tell the public? Maybe that's why didn't she?
Wait a minute. She didn't ask you that when you sat down with him? You didn't ask. How come you didn't ask that when you sat down with him?
You have to ask her. I can't speculate for her. You have to ask her that.
I can tell you that she honestly puts everything out that she believes will help her daughter to look innocent. And that's exactly what she should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
If she had that regression therapy and they said that, you would assume that they would put it.
Okay. I've kind of had enough of this. But I'm going to look at something else. Now, Rel made this video 2 years before that debate. This is where how I met Rel was because of this video. He has some Darlie supporters send him this stuff.
Hello, YouTube. How you guys doing? Ladies and gentlemen,
Now listen closely. Because Sully said that there was some really good information over here. That's why I came here. Because Sully shouted him out and said that there was some really good information over here, and I wanted to check it out because it's been a long time since I saw how me and Rel did this.
Putting together a story right now, and I'm sitting down talking to the family.
He's putting together a story with the family. He's sitting down talking to them. They're putting the story together. I wonder what happened, though, because we never saw that story.
Of Darlie Rodier. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who may not remember who Darlie Rodier is, here she is right here, lady.
And now, he spoke with the family. He sat down with the Rodier family. Remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, Texas has one of the most flawed justice systems. Now,
it's not the Texas justice system, it's the whole United States justice system.
What?
Now, I can also tell that he's reading something because he's waiting on people to turn pages.
Once upon a time, I thought like you before I went and did my homework and started researching and reading.
He researched this entire case.
I thought Darlie was guilty.
Yep.
Send her ass to death row. She's there. Give her the needle. Put out her misery.
So this is all scripted, and I didn't realize it then.
the world would be a better place without her. That was my way of thinking back then. I don't like to read articles and give you guys second and third hand tabloid information.
He don't like to go by tabloids. He doesn't like to give that to us. But listen to how he says he decided that Darlie was guilty.
I'm going straight to the source.
He's going straight to the source, right?
Bring to you, I'm going to give it to you right here on this channel, Real World Podcast. Now,
he's waiting for somebody to turn the page.
I was sitting up late one night and I was watching Life on Death Row.
He just got done saying he don't want to give us tabloid stuff. But this is where he decided that she was innocent. And I looked for this Life on Death Row show and I couldn't find it anywhere.
And it showed you all the information that this woman could not have possibly done what she did.
He did not put up a link, and there's no link under the video.
And I got to thinking, do we have an innocent woman sitting on death row?
Remember, he don't want to give us tabloid stuff.
And the answer was yes, we do.
He didn't want to give us tabloid stuff, but it's tabloid media stuff that made him feel like she was innocent, right?
So I hooked up with Darlie Rodier and her family.
They failed to tell us about this. You know what, Rel? You got with them and you spent your time to get up with that family, and by God, it's not very nice of them. I don't know why Danelle hasn't mentioned you. I don't know why Darlie Key would tell Rich Prater that.
Let's get the support up for this young lady. How would you feel if one of your loved ones was on death row for a crime that he or she didn't commit?
I wouldn't like it.
Go back and look up the history of Texas or anywhere in the South where the death penalty is, and you will find that many innocent men have been executed on death row that did not even commit the.
Remember, you're talking about a woman on death row. You just went off onto left field.
Crime. How do you make that right? The person is dead. You can't give them life again. You can't bring them back. There's no amount of money in the world that will compensate the family for taking the life of an innocent person. I'm asking you, do not let them execute this innocent woman. Do not let them do it. The evidence that the prosecutor put together for you guys, it does not support the crime. It just doesn't.
What evidence?
The evidence that this prosecution hid from you guys, I'm quite sure if the jury, the evidence that this prosecution hid from you guys, I'm quite sure if the jury can do it. The evidence that the prosecutor put together for you guys.
Now, under my other video, the prosecutor does not put the evidence together. The crime scene and the first responders and the nurses and all that, they put the evidence together. They gather it, they find it, they collect it. And they present the evidence to the prosecutor. And then the prosecutor presents it to the people.
It does not support the crime. It just doesn't. The evidence that this prosecution hid from you guys, I'm quite sure if the jury heard that.
Now, the reason that I think, in all reality, that the reason that the prosecution hid evidence is not that they actually hid it. Because the prosecutor apparently was so busy out doing the blood work, analyzing the crime scene, gathering fingerprints. He was gathering the evidence, right? He pulling up pieces of carpet, going out and talking to people. And I was, that's probably why there are so many more wrongful convictions in Texas, because that prosecutor is overworked. I always thought it was the nurses and and the CSI people that did all that. I didn't know that it was the prosecution that gathered all the evidence. I never knew that.
This woman would be free. She would not be sitting on death row for.
So, I got a really good idea, to stop some of those wrongful convictions and the executions and stuff in Texas. Get some people to help this prosecutor because he's so busy out gathering evidence. I think that he actually lost that file of evidence when he was over at 5801 Eagle Drive when he was clearing the crime scene out there and processing it. I think he went up in the attic and he probably left that evidence up there. Has anybody checked? Has anybody got a hold of the Millers and seen that when they were moving in or out, if there was some evidence that the prosecutor forgot? Because he's really overworked.
22 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, stop judging off of the stuff that you see on the media. Dig deep and go research this stuff. It's free, it's out there. All the people in Texas, go to your local library. There's
not a whole lot at your local library about Darlie Routier.
There, or go to the courts and get the paperwork.
Go to what court? What court are you going to go to get the paperwork about Darlie's case? Are you telling everybody to go to Dallas and pick them up? Or maybe you can get it online, right?
I challenge you to read it, and I guarantee you'll change your mind and say she's not guilty. Peace and love.
Wow. Let's see. Coming soon. So all these people I found something. This is the truth. And Rich said how much he liked her and go on over and look at her stuff. And she really knows the case, he said. Nobody must have seen this post. That 85J, the print that the state has claimed is Darlie's, has been run through APHIS and it's not Darlie's. Well, fuck, man. I wish I'd have read that before. That does it for me. I'm out of here. That does it. I'm done. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to Darlie support. Let's see. And these are people that really, really want to feel, Look. He's taking a shot at me on that one. All right. And we all know that Darlie herself said nothing like that went on. A lot of my comments are gone. She's innocent. Yeah, see, me and him were fighting because Darlie supporters sent him after me. I don't believe I said that. Yep. So, I don't know if Sully talked to Rel or not. Apparently she didn't. I was still looking for that good information.